Hi everyone, it's me, Diana, the Doll Fairy. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an artist who creates custom doll art inspired by my favorite characters, as well as my own imagination. I've been creating custom doll art here on my channel for around 5 years now, and I think it's actually time for a little bit of a change. I still love my mini-me avatar, the Doll Fairy, who is made using an Ever After High doll as the base. However, I also want to create a new version of the Doll Fairy to coincide with this newest era in my creative life, which is focusing more on sewing for dolls, especially smart dolls. So I want to create an incarnation of the Doll Fairy that is in smart doll form and kind of has a different vibe.
Here's the mood board I put together to help me brainstorm not only the mascot's new look, but my overall new branding. The new Doll Fairy will have less sparkle and more of an organic feel, with softer, more subtle versions of the signature pink and turquoise colors. My vision for the fairy herself is a little woodland fairy who lives in a cottage in an enchanted forest. In her cottage, she welcomes doll visitors from all over to her studio, where her magic and her crafting skills come together to create beautiful clothing and accessories, and even full makeovers for her customers. Her look will be most heavily influenced by a cottagecore aesthetic, with lots of lace and ruffles as well as flowers. Instead of an elaborate magic wand, she carries a large sewing needle which acts as her magic wand. Here's my initial sketch for her design. You'll see by the end that my design changes a little bit, but this is enough to go on for now. I'll be making this version of the Doll Fairy using a smart doll as the base. I usually start with the doll's face first, but this time I'll be leaving that for last since I'm not sure what my plan is yet. I am pretty confident about my outfit design at this point, so I'll be starting there by making a sheer cream-colored blouse. I'm using the blouse pattern from Requiem Art's Cupcake Lolita set, which is a pattern I've used multiple times before and of which I'm a huge fan. Now, I filmed a lot of this stuff vertically, thinking I would only make reels instead of a full video for this project, so I do apologize that this isn't the ideal ratio. I was originally not going to film this process at all for the sake of my mental health and creating without the pressure of the camera, but well, here we are. I did a lot of the stitching by hand, especially since this is a delicate fabric. The pinafore dress is also from the Cupcake Lolita pattern by Requiem Art. I'm using a deep sage green textured satin fabric that drapes in a really lovely way. As I did for the top, I always prepare delicate pieces like this by applying fray block to the edges of the fabric. Darts help shape the bodice in a flattering way. I used a thin cotton for the lining of the bodice, and after stitching the pieces together, I clip along the curves so that it will lay nicely when folded right side out. This adorable lace trim will edge the bottom of the skirt as well as form ruffles at the shoulders of the pinafore. I use a running stitch to gather up the lace before carefully pinning and sewing it on. I gather the top edge of the skirt as well, and for some reason I chose to do it by hand. Lovely. Now I just need to sew up the back and add some snap closures, and we can move on to an important accessory, the apron. I'm recycling this pink camisole top that's made out of a really nice fabric. I guess for this ruffle, I graduated to using a gathering stitch on the sewing machine instead of doing it by hand. Really not sure why I didn't do that for the skirt. I decided to make the pocket on her skirt a dark pink heart, which I thought would be really cute and also harken back to the pink crystal heart pendant that the original Doll Fairy incarnation always wears. I tested out a few different combinations of ribbon and lace, and finally settled on using the same lace trim I used on the dress. I really like how the finished heart looks like a hand-stitched old-fashioned Valentine. The wings were intimidating. When I made the Doll Fairy's original wings, I used wire and Angelina film, and it worked really well, but it took me a lot of tries and a fair bit of stress. This time, they're huge in comparison. After starting with the sketch, I did my best to create the outlines in a thick but soft wire. This Angelina film is from makingfairies.com. It's basically an iridescent film that has the ability to fuse to itself when you use heat. I placed the wire frame between the two sheets of the iridescent film, and I used heat to fuse them by using my new mini iron. This one has really good precision and works a lot better than the pink one that I had that you've probably seen in some of my old videos. The layer of wax paper is meant to protect the film from melting and sticking to the heat source, but it's kind of leaving a residue. I end up cautiously using the iron straight onto the film, and it seems okay for the most part. When I'm satisfied, I cut away the excess film and then use the flame of a candle to gently melt the edges. This works, but it's very risky. I ended up accidentally burning a hole in one of the wings, but I wasn't about to redo the whole thing, so I'm convincing myself it adds character or maybe whimsy. And now we can do her face up. I originally wasn't sure whether I wanted to simply use my Juniper custom or even my Entropy, who I feel looks a little bit like me, but I ultimately decided that this new doll fairy needed her very own face. I chose a COS sculpt from Culture Japan, which is my favorite sculpt, and after prepping the vinyl head with Mr. Super Clear UV Cut Matte Sealant, I can start sketching the features with my watercolor pencils. Since this doll is supposed to represent me, I just kind of let myself be free and draw her in whatever style felt natural to me, and what I thought would be pretty. For the shape of the eyes, I did use the original Doll Fairy doll as a reference. Her eyes are sort of narrow at the inner corners, and then get really wide and round at the outer corners. She should look sweet and sincere, and a little bit enthusiastic. She also gets very defined eyelashes. I really like a rosy pink lip color, so I gave her a darker pink than I usually do on Smart Doll face-ups, where I'm trying to follow Culture Japan's usual look. After the first layer is done, the foundation is there. After spraying subsequent layers of sealant to seal my work, I can add more layers of darker browns to the sketch. I really love freckles on dolls, so I decided to give her a very light dusting along her cheeks and the bridge of her nose. Adding these was actually a lot of fun. After a couple more layers, I finish off the face up with some black pencil along the eye outlines and eyelashes. Now that the face is ready, it's the perfect time to try out these new eyes I ordered from Atelier Vanilla. They are the candy design and they're really, really pretty. They have a metallic sheen to them and everything. That's when I remembered to add some Tamiya gloss to her lips to make them nice and shiny. Although I really like the design of the eyes themselves, I decided to trade these to my Juniper and use the turquoise Culture Japan ones for this doll because their design is a bit narrower and seems to fit the sculpt better. But Juniper is looking pretty cute in them. And the wig. I ordered the Cafe Latte Chic wig from DallasDollCo. Its wavy texture really kind of reminds me of my own hairstyle, so it seemed perfect. The waves are really pretty, but a little unruly in places. It made me really feel like I was dealing with my own hair. For this doll, I was inspired by this hairstyle, which I think would look really good with flowers woven into the braids. In order to get it to look the way I want, I get to styling it by straightening some of the top pieces to tame the waves toward the top. I use a spritz of water to calm the frizziness and keep the waves nice and smooth. I section out pieces that I'll braid together on each side and then bring the two braids together in the middle. With a few miniature flowers and a little bow I made, this is looking really adorable. For a couple of finishing touches, I made her a little pincushion bracelet out of fabric and some foam, and I also made matching slippers using a pattern from Requiem Art. Are you ready to see the final reveal for the new doll fairy? What do you think of my new look? It's actually taken months to decide on this design and bring it to life, especially because it was really important to me and I was pretty indecisive about it for a while. I even commissioned an artist, Lavera Grace on Instagram, to draw my new doll fairy character in a style reminiscent of the original Pixie Hollow illustrations that used to be a part of the original Disney Fairies line. This artwork perfectly captures the whimsy I was hoping for, and it will be featured along with my new logo design on a new collection of merchandise in my shop, thedollfairy.com. Here's the new Doll Fairy t-shirt, which features the Doll Fairy artwork on the front in a floral doily design, along with the new wings and needle logo on the back. There's a tote bag featuring a similar design, which is perfect for using as a reusable shopping bag, for carrying books and notebooks, or even maybe transporting a doll or two. Speaking of books and notebooks, check out this spiral bullet journal I designed. It's designed to encourage you every time you open it with the phrase, "Be true to the magic in you" on the cover. I also put together this fleece crop sweatshirt design, which features the new Doll Fairy logo and a floral lace pattern print along the sleeves. Last but not least, add a little bit of doll magic to your laptop, notebook, sewing machine, or whatever you want with 2 new Doll Fairy vinyl sticker designs.
Any of your purchases of Doll Fairy merchandise help to support this channel and my art in a huge way. So to anybody who wants to order something or even just browse my site, I want to say a big thank you.
Head over to thedollfairy.com now to see the website's revamped design, sign up for the email list, and if you'd like to rep some magic in your everyday life, grab some merch from the new collection. The new Doll Fairy is here, but we're not done creating magic just yet. This fairy needs a place to practice her craft, so we'll be turning my unfinished Smart Doll diorama into a woodland workshop. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't so that you won't miss my next video where we'll do exactly that.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I know I've been a little MIA over the past few months, so thanks so much for sticking around while I worked on this magical transformation. I have high hopes for this new era of the Doll Fairy, so I hope you'll join me on this journey. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and also follow me on Instagram at DollFairy for previews and updates and more frequent posts. I'd like to take a moment to say a big thank you to my patrons who help to support this channel and support my artwork, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate that. I'll see you all again soon for more doll magic. Bye!